Well, well. I didn't think you'd be up quite yet. I hope I didn't wake you. It's been some time. I hope I haven't kept you waiting too long. Pet. I know. I'm only teasing. Darling is what I meant to say. It feels good to be able to finally doff all the snow gear. I finished inspecting the fields with the rest of the men last night. Despite the harsh cold this far north, it seems that this year's crop will survive just fine. Thanks in no small part to you, of course, darling. Oh, please. Now you're just trying to flatter me. If it weren't for all the hard work you put in day after day helping to set up trusses and shelters for the crops, this year's harvest might not have even stood a chance. Speaking of which, have you had breakfast yet? I could have some of the housemaids whip us up something. Oh, just some hot tea for now? Ah, yes. I know how you like to enjoy a nice warm cup of tea on the balcony window while you watch the early morning sun paint the snow in shades of gold. Quite the spoiled little girl you've become. Don't worry, I'm only teasing. Nothing but the best for the governess after all. Now, I think I've had enough of the cold for 1 week. Why don't you come and join me at the breakfast nook by the balcony doors instead? I'll ring for one of the housemaids to brew a fresh pot of tea. There's a nice cushy chair over here with your name on it. There's another seat you'd prefer instead. Well, show me then. So that's what you meant, Well, you know that I certainly have no objections. Besides, what better way to shake the cold off my bones than to hold you in my lap like this, I missed you too, darling. I hope you didn't... it looks like the tea is here. Thank you, Hilda. That'll be all. Oh, and please do thank your husband for the gift of that roast he brought along on our little excursion across the farmlands. That man's cooking truly is worthy of song. How I missed a hot cup of tea by our hearth every morning. Speaking of warmth, I've been so hungry my entire trip, darling. I don't suppose I could have a little... You truly do know whatever's on my mind. Delicious. Now I'm all nice and warm. Thank you, darling. Oh, yes, as I was saying, I hope you didn't find the manor too boring in my absence. True, it's certainly no dark and mysterious castle, but you definitely seem like you've had no shortage of tasks and projects to occupy your attention since we first arrived all those months ago. You've been instrumental in helping to pick only the hardiest crops to plant for the winter, You've completely renovated the manor's garden. You spearheaded half of the entire search team all night long for the sheep when the fences gave out during that storm. You help in going out to pick herbs and lend a hand when a new crop field needs tilling or fencing in. And you even help to found a school for the village. It's no wonder that the townsfolk adore you so much. You're like a celebrity. It's true. Whenever we go out, men, women, and children are always running up to you with exclamations like, "Mrs. Governess, I baked you this pie as thanks for helping to heal my husband's injuries. Oh, Mrs. Governess, thank you again for helping us find that new farmland. The soil's so rich my pumpkins this year are the biggest I've ever seen. Oh, Mrs. Governess, thank you so much for cooking me and the rest of the school children all that yummy lunch the other day. I brought you some candy as a thank you. You're my hero." Okay, maybe the last bit was an exaggeration, but the rest is all true. The people really do love you. Yes, I suppose they do love us both equally, for all the hard work we've been putting in to ensure the prosperity of our village. It's been so long since I've had to use my Celine's inheritance. I'd almost forgotten what it feels like to be loved and accepted by people just for being, well, you. Yes, besides you, of course. I couldn't forget about you, my dear. But the people here are just so warm and inviting. The entire town is. Everyone here is simply doing what they can to make it to tomorrow. They're so earnest and kind and genuine. They laugh and play together. They struggle together and overcome together. It's such a stark contrast to the constant cold and harsh winters of this land. You're right. Humans truly are strongest when the odds are against them, aren't they? They form strong bonds with one another, and will go out of their way to help each other, even when there is no immediate or obvious gain to get out of it for themselves. Mother always used to tell us that humans are to be pitied, for their lives are so short and so fleeting that they will never live long enough to see their hardest labors bear any true fruit. That vampires should be above them, belonged above them, because only we possess the lifespan and the strength to bring about any real change in this world. After all, a shepherd does not entrust the livelihood of their flock to the sheep. Mother's vision was always too far, too broad. She could never see what was right in front of her. It is because human life is so short and uncertain that they're able to smile every day, that they're able to pick themselves up and keep going, even when the entire world is attempting to beat them back down. The time of monsters and magic is ending. The world belongs to man now, not vampires. And very soon, I'll be able to walk through our little town as one of them, with you at my side. Oh, when will you get to see the lab? Soon, my love. Very soon, I promise you. Some of the alchemy is still a little too temperamental to let a human like you come visit just yet. Not unless you want to spend a month without eyebrows, of course. But don't worry, I'll let you come down and visit soon. Oh, my. Dipping your toes into a little extortion now, aren't we, Miss Governess? I believe that I've already told you that I was sorry for keeping this place a secret from you for so long. It was the only way to ensure that it stayed safe and hidden from prying eyes. I spent so long building this place up and helping to settle the farmland here. With the coast at our front and the mountains at our back, it was the perfect place to establish a safe haven. It just so happens that it's also the only place on the continent where the herbs that are so instrumental in the creation of my anti-morphosis elixir grow as well. You can only imagine my joy at such luck when I discovered them here. But no more secrets, I promise. You're not just any human. You are my betrothed, after all. Hmm. Do I ever wonder what happened to everyone after that day? Of course I do. I think about it every single day. What could have happened? What might have happened? What could have been done differently? But we did everything we could, you and I. I made sure we got out safely when we could. I gave Carlen his instructions, and I trust him. I never got around to telling him, but he truly is, my closest friend. And now I must put my faith in him the way he put his faith in me. In regards to my siblings, each of them are incredibly strong, and have the protection of their personal head servants with them as well. That was why, when Mother first told me of her plan to hold a family meeting, I urged her to have each of them attended by their head servants. They were as safe as could possibly be. I made sure of that. I can only hope it was enough. And as for Mother, well, I suppose our sins always find a way to catch up to us eventually, no matter how long you spend running from them. Rise and shine, Ilsenia. The sun has risen on yet another glorious day. Not like you've ever been one to enjoy sunshine, of course. Not really your kind's thing, is it? How are you enjoying your accommodations? I put a lot of care into preparing them for you. Roomy and spacious with that rustic stone look that only a cave can provide. With your very own sunroof rigged to open at the press of a button, you get your choice of bright natural light or suffocating pitch blackness whenever you want. Or, well, whenever I want, I should say. You'll have to excuse the rats and the damp, of course, but hey, at least there's no draft. You even get your very own pool. But I find the brisk hypothermic temperatures to be quite refreshing. Is your bed comfortable? Or maybe calling it a bed is being unfair. More like metal coffin. You know, rumor has it that vampires sleep in coffins, which they rise from every night before preying on mortals. It's a little silly, I know, but people can't help but come up with all kinds of rumors when they talk about monsters. So, I figured why not give it a try. The coffin that you're currently bolted inside of is a brand new contraption we had shipped all the way over from Franketta. They call it an Iron Maiden. We had this one custom modified with a window for your face and a matching iron mouth gag just for you. Now, don't you feel privileged? Chained up and hanging from the ceiling roughly 30 feet in the air, you're granted such a gorgeous view of your new home. Hell, I have to climb these silly retractable stone steps just to talk face to face with you. But you've always liked that sort of thing, haven't you? Looking down on people. Have your meals been satisfactory? Provided twice a month every month, sourced from only the fattest rats we could find. You don't even have to drink yourself. This handy little IV tube lets us deliver it straight to your bloodstream. Oh yes, a lot of care has been placed into your accommodations. A series of tiny threads, impossibly thin, like a spider's silk, have been woven throughout the entirety of your iron coffin and run up along the chain to the winch holding you up, like a tripwire. Primed to release the winch, It'll drop you plummeting 30 feet into the water below, where an 8-inch thick metal trapdoor will slam shut above you, ensuring that you have a very long and agonizing little soak, constantly drowning and not dying thanks to your godless immortality. And when I've had enough fun listening to you writhe and splash around, I'll pull you out and string you back up like a floundering, dying fish. If you attempt to struggle, drop. If you try and speak, drop. If you so much as sneeze without my permission, drop. Understood? You didn't even nod your head yes because you knew that I'd drop you. Good. Then you've been listening. Now, you can still move your head around with what little space I've provided your neck. I'm not a monster, of course. Not like you. You know, I've been waiting a very long time for this moment. You took everything from me. Though I doubt I'm barely the first person to tell you that. But our situation's quite a bit unique, wouldn't you say? My family, my friends, my village. You even took my good eye. I have made a life out of hunting you and your dark little brood, but finally all of my efforts have begun to pay off. In the meantime, I founded an organization, the Order of Dawn, created to eradicate night terrors just like you. Oh yes, werewolves, ghouls, poltergeists, shades, you name it. But vampires have always been our specialty. We already put down 2 of your offspring. The young female with the split-colored hair with a whole heap of fight in her, and one of those lightning-charged twin girls of yours. Lilybed and Melmira were their names, I believe. Nasty business. But I'm afraid they just didn't seem like the come-quietly types. You understand. As for their little pets, well, the wrecking ball-flinging female wolf chose to die with her master, and your little rabbit currently rests strung up in chains, safe and sound in one of our laboratories. Her entire body bears signs of your profane, magical, and surgical meddling. Knowing you, her being your personal attendant and all, you've probably hidden something inside her. Why else would you keep such a fragile-looking thing at your side? Hasn't really spoken much. Doesn't make a sound except when we're cutting her open, but don't worry. My scientists are working diligently to uncover whatever secrets her body may hold. As for the male wolf, the fox, and that bighorn fella, they've been scattered to the wind along with the rest of your children. You and your 3 surviving offspring are the last remaining vampires in all of Eden. I've made sure of that. Call me a bit of a dramatic, but I wanted to save the best for last. Your castles are gone, your little pets are gone, and soon, so will your bloodline. I'm not quite sure where those youngins have run off to, but I do know that you are going to help me find them. I've made quite sure of that. Oh, now does my old eye deceive me? Was it a trick of the light, maybe, or did you just shed a little tear? Well, 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 so monsters really can have a heart. Well, don't shed 'em all, because our work's only just begun, Ilsenia. You're going to help me find your last 3 little ones, and after, and only after they've been exterminated, will I let you die. Mom and Dad will finally have rest for what you did to us. Little sister. About time you woke up. Oh, hey, careful now there, fella. Must have hit your head pretty hard when you fell down the falls there. I come down here to fish and check my traps every once in a while, and found you laying on a rock out in the river, passed out and all bloody and beaten. Your clothes are all torn up, so I had to toss most of them. Sorry. I patched you up best I could, but you ain't ready to go walking around just yet.
Where am I?
You're at Juniper River, just at the foot of Two Lovers Falls.
Two lovers?
Mm-hmm. You see the ginormous stone statue over there on the other side of the falls?
Yes. Except I only see one.
That's right. That's because all that's left of the other one are the feet over there. Now mostly overgrown with moss and shrubs. Story has it that long ago all this land was divided between two great sorcerer nations which bordered either side of this river here. These nations fought over the usual power, resources, land, and access to the river's bounty. They hated each other's guts, of course. All except the crown prince and princess of each of the kingdoms, who loved each other very dearly. They would often sneak away at night and meet in the small alcove behind the waterfall, striking out from the paths their parents had laid out for them to follow their own hearts, as all children eventually do. Wasn't till war broke out that their love was finally revealed, much to their parents' horror, of course. Together as the children of the two most arcanely powerful families in the land, they called down a great storm that overflowed the falls and flooded the river, washing away armies, catapults, weapons of destruction we don't even have names for anymore, you name it. All of it down the river and straight out to sea. It wasn't until the rain cleared and the river had settled that the princess noticed that the prince had been shot in the chest with an arrow. He died quietly at her side, giving his life to end the war between their two peoples. The princess was heartbroken. Seeing what they'd done, the two nations chose to put down their arms and come together, unifying under the princess who became the leader of this new kingdom. Some versions of the tale claim the princess died of heartbreak a few years later, others that she passed during childbirth, for I guess she was pregnant with the late prince's son, although neither knew it at the time. Regardless of what the truth is, her people built these two great statues and renamed the falls in memory of the star-crossed lovers who brought a nation together with their wrath and their love. The prince's statue fell over a long time ago, well before I was born, but the princess's still stands watch over their secret alcove, her arm outstretched to embrace the hand of her lover. Don't know if it's poetic or just plain ironic, really.
Sad. It's sad, is what it is.
I think you might be right. You know, them falls are damn near 300 feet high. You must have a hell of a lot of luck to have survived a drop like that and came away with only a head injury, some cuts and bruises, and a few cracked ribs.
Guess I'm just lucky. My mother used to say that I was like a cat playing with my lives, but that I always somehow landed on my feet. At least, I think she did.
Well, if you had 9 lives, you almost spent them all. You kind of look like a cat, too, with them eyes and those teeth of yours. Ain't never seen hair the color of yours, neither. At least not on a young guy like you.
Gee, thanks.
How'd you end up falling down them falls anyway?
Well, I doubt it was for the fun of it. I'd imagine I fell in at some point further upstream, but as to how, I'm afraid I don't really recall.
Ah, well, that's fine. Maybe some rest will help you jog your memory. Come on now. We got a decent walk ahead of us. Take my arm. Come on now. Up you go.
What? Wait, where are we going?
Well, I'm taking you back to my home so you can recover. If I left you out here like this, you wouldn't last 2 days in your condition. Besides, I did all my fishing while you're out cold. Caught a big catch today, too, so someone's going to have to help me cook it all.
Won't be that far. We'll make it there before sunset, and I'll help you the whole way.
Your kindness is overwhelming. I don't know what I can offer you in return.
That's fine. Ain't asking for nothing in return. Except maybe you help around the house every now and then once you get your strength back, of course. There we go. Nice and easy now. Figure I better finally introduce myself too, since you'll be staying under my roof for a while. My name's Hugo, but my friends call me Hugh. What's your name?
My name is... It is... My name is... I don't remember.